This story looks at one township in Arnhem Land, Maningrida. Maningrida should not be seen as typical of the settlements in Arnhem Land. The town began and has grown in a particular way, generating a particular set of present-day problems and challenges. The modern history of Maningrida begins only 40 years ago. Syd Kyle-Little was one of the early patrol officers sent into Arnhem Land just after the Second World War. During wartime, military bases proliferated through the Northern Territory. Previously isolated Aborigines living traditional lifestyles quickly learned of the attractions of sugar, flour, tobacco, shop goods and alcohol. Tribal Aborigines seeking Whitefella novelties began a tide of migration from Arnhem Land into Darwin. Territory administrators directed Patrol Officer Kyle-Little to find ways to slow the tide. In 1949, he established the first trading post at Maningrida.
Started Maningrida because it was the one spot that was good accessibility to deep water. You could bring out supplies. There were no mission stations there. It would have been a government post, and the idea was to start a small trading post for the Gunaviji people. Long-term aspirations were that I would then start a trading post on the Blythe River for the Barada people, and then start another trading post further round, up near the Arafura swamp for the other tribe. And where the tribes were sufficiently big enough just to have a trading post so that they could work their own country, their own land. Their land means a lot to them. A Barada man coming into Maningrida is leaving his country miles away to come into other people's country, and they're not welcome.
Despite the apparent success of the trading post, it did not survive a change in administration in Darwin. It was closed in 1950, and Syd Kyle-Little quit the patrol service in disgust. Eight years on, in 1957, the idea was revived in a different form. A new settlement was established under the management of former missionaries Ingrid and David Drysdale. Maningrida became the first government-sponsored, rather than mission township, in Arnhem Land. But the stamp of white administration and structures was firmly upon it. The first school was established, an airstrip was cleared, and in 1962, a hospital opened, named in honour of Ingrid Drysdale. People of different tribes from a broad catchment around the township began to drift in and settle. Maningrida, as it is today, has its roots in the 1957 settlement.
There's a common opinion being expressed that the education system has failed Aboriginal people. The reasons for that are complex, but I think that really has to be addressed, because the link between education and health and education and real self-determination is crucial. And until people are equipped both for health and to determine their own future, equipped properly, I think we're all just going around in circles to some degree.
Traditional landowners talk of black money turning into white. Black money supports a huge range of white employment and service industries in the Northern Territory. It is scarcely surprising then that there is resistance to attempts to change how that money is distributed and how services are provided. The Northern Territory Land Rights Act of 1977 gave Aboriginal communities like Maningrida independence and self-government. But it remains hard to see how that independence is being exercised when Balandas continue to hold most of the management, service provision and skilled trades positions in town. Balanda ways are not Aboriginal ways. Experience, not just in Maningrida, seems to suggest that attempts to impose Balanda organisational structures on self-governing Aboriginal communities are guaranteed to fail. Experience in Maningrida also demonstrates how the Aboriginal way can cut in to ease the worst symptoms of a social crisis as it occurs. But without deep structural change, the Aboriginal way cannot reach to the core of the Central Malays. The Aboriginal way is still working for the crises, but the rest of the time, Balanda rules rule, until they throw up another crisis. Health and education, education and health, and ownership of the problem. These are the messages to carry from Maningrida. Back in 1995, that organic decision-making process, listening and talking, talking and listening, reached a consensus that there was a fundamental need for the community to take control of health issues. Ill health, premature death, a missing generation of